Are you ready?
All right.
All right. Welcome to Facility Files. My name is Elizabeth Ignatowicz, and today I have...
I'm Jeff Rizzo with EDS.
Welcome.
Is it, I mean, are we okay to be, can I be myself?
Yes,
okay.
yes, please
I didn't
be
even
yourself.
know you started recording, so sorry. Hey, everybody.
Yeah, 43 seconds in.
All right, here we go.
I can edit this down. All right,
But
today...
Keep the good stuff in there, though. I mean, if you're going to make this about the way that the facility managers are, it's got to be good and weird, too. So, okay, here we go. I can't hear it anymore.
Oh, shit. It just died.
Take two.
Do you have batteries?
Is it true? Is it batteries?
Yes,
batteries?
it is batteries.
Double A.
Fuck. It wouldn't be our show without them dying.
What's your emergency?
We need batteries. All right.
Where were we?
Take two. Welcome to Facility Files. I am Elizabeth Ignatowicz, and Jeff Rizzo's checking his phone.
I'm going to turn this off so I don't have to do that. I am Jeff Rizzo with Environmental Diversified Services, EDS.
And what did EDS used to stand for?
Emergency Disaster Services, Environmental Drying Services. It was a number of different companies over the years that it's turned into now Environmental Diversified Services.
So I have a question.
Okay.
What is your favorite disaster to take care of or emergency call? What are your favorites?
Any and all. What's my favorite? I've been doing this a long time. My favorite, looking back, it used to be any job, right? Because it was always fun to do work, and we always are doing work. But it's the challenging ones. It's the different ones. I like regional events. A couple years ago, was it last Christmas when it got so cold and all the pipes broke? So
or 2 Christmases ago.
Yeah, so those regional events are fun for me.
It's just go, go, go.
I think we did a lot, right? I mean, there's 176 hours in a week. We did not sleep for 120 of those hours.
Yeah.
Right? So 50 hours of sleep over 7 days is not a lot. But that, when we're busy is fun.
Yeah.
The other component of that, the flip side of that is for the facility managers, right? People love to see us come. They love to see us go. And they don't ever want to see us again because it's always an emergency.
Yeah.
It's always your worst day. It's always
a ton of money.
You're spending a ton of money. I get that, I know we've done blood cleanups and different.
My favorite story.
Okay, yeah.
My favorite story. I called Jeff to clean up some blood, and he goes, emergency. He takes care of it. It's great. Sends me a huge bill, and I said, for what? A little drop of blood. Now, it was more, but I just love giving him hell over the cost for a little drop of blood.
I never said it was going to be inexpensive. Everything we do, it costs money, and the reality of it is.
And Jeff's response, I cost what I cost.
I hate
and
saying
you didn't have to touch it.
Valid
points.
Yeah, okay. Well, I haven't in a while, but I have touched it, and I will touch it again. I'm certain of it. But
well, that was your point to me. Like, you didn't have to touch it, Elizabeth, and I cost what I cost.
Right? Did you? You weren't dressing up in a suit. Do you want to go do that?
I didn't have to go at 10 o'clock at night.
Right. But you ask about what the fun ones are. Those are the fun ones for me. I like challenges. I like our world. We look at what is the emergency for the facility manager today. Yeah, you had blood. Today we're cleaning homeless camps around town, which seem to be coming up more and more and more and more. What's the environmental impact for homeless camps? And those are sad scenarios, right? And I'll tell you, the ones that I don't like are the ones that have emotion tied to them.
Yeah.
If we're talking dollars and cents is easy. There's no emotion with that. I need this done as fast as I can get it done so I don't have business interruption, right? It's the one that have emotion to it. I don't remember the blood story, but we've had blood stories where, multifamily complexes that, murder suicides and people. There was one that comes back that really touches me. That the guy's life insurance policy was up the day after. He was a cancer survivor. He was a cancer patient, and he took his own life, and we had to go in and clean that up. And I was good cleaning the blood. We're going to protect ourselves. The PPE, cleaning up blood is not an inexpensive thing because of what the potential hazard of the blood, right? But when you talk about scraping a man's brains off the wall, and you can delete this, but those are the pieces that I don't enjoy, is the emotional piece.
And those stay with you
forever. And genuinely, it's the reason why, we don't do residential work anymore, is because and I say residential, we don't do single family home.
Right.
Because there's so much emotion tied to it.
Yeah.
And I just got emotional about that, right? But I don't understand grandmother's heirlooms real well, right? So everything you do when you go into a home is all emotion.
Yeah.
And then, this is where people live, right? The facility managers are dealing with more and handling more. What's my impact to business? Get me back as quick as possible and take the emotion away. My building's flooded. I need it done right now. Have your disaster plan ready. Know who to call. Know who your electricians are, and go beyond just an emergency service company. What are the impacts to the people that are going to get here?
Yeah.
If we're talking about a Mother Nature and we're talking about snow and ice and cold, and what are the people dealing with in their own homes also needs to go into that plan.
Right.
How's the CEO getting to work today? Don't know. He can't get here. His house is flooded. What impact goes down the line? So it's not just a matter of that emergency service company. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
I know you and I have had some fun stories together without naming clients or identifying them. I know, like, you spoke about the winter storm that happened a couple Christmases ago. It froze overnight. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, things started thawing out, and then shit hit the fan and we were all running. I have a newborn baby at home dealing with this all at the same time, calling Jeff saying, I have such and such flooding. Here's pictures. I need you to, and I was very specific with him on what I needed. I needed him to open up a wall. I had water shut off at that point. I needed cleanup. Then I was scheduling the plumbing repairs. Then I needed him to go back and fix it. We actually kind of got into a little spat over it, and I made you go back.
Did we?
Remember, I made you go back, and then you didn't want to pick up the work order, and we had to have an argument about it?
Nashville.
Yes.
Yeah. It got done.
It did.
With. I don't remember the whole thing, but anyway,
there was one minor detail that the guys needed to finish up, so I sent him a warranty ticket, and we had a little argument about it.
I'm still mad about that. Really? You must be still holding it, because I forgot all about it, honestly.
It was just really funny. Actually, Sophie and I joke about it all the time about how you made her wait to pick up that work order, and then it was late, and then I wouldn't extend it because I was equally being a jerk back and forth. I think we ended up doing it, but it
got us nowhere.
We were both just arguing over nothing.
Over a piece of Cove Base.
It was Cove Base.
Nashville, Tennessee. Now you're going to make me bring it back up. Rizzo, can you go to Nashville for some warranty work? I didn't even take that piece of Cove Base off, is what it boils down to. Anyway, that Cove Base. Talk about more emergency.
Okay, so we dealt with that.
I got mad about, let's go back to Nashville. I did get mad about that. And it wasn't that I even got mad about it. It's that I didn't have a solution for it in the moment.
Yeah.
And how was I going to get back to Nashville? That's what I was figuring out in my mind, was to take that off of your plate so you didn't have to deal with it. I didn't care. At the point, it wasn't about whose fault it was. It's how do I get back to Nashville to do it?
Yeah.
And what's the most cost-effective way for all of us to do it? So, one, I can do it under warranty, not have to bill, not have to, whether it was my fault that it didn't go back up or whoever's fault it was, it didn't get put back up and we needed to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I didn't have it figured out in that moment. But then when it got done, it's done. And again, you brought it back up. I forgot all about it. I've got a story for you. New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. Feces is just feces. It's just dookie. It's just a turd, right? It's kind of gross.
Yeah.
Let's talk about smells and odors.
See, I'm not a smell and odor girl, man. Those get me.
So
I can look at it all day long.
Imagine this, okay? And this is the stinkiest smell I've ever smelled in my life. And we've smelled bodies that have been sitting in cars for cooking in, the Charlotte heat. And for weeks before they were found, and it stinks. Dead body's death is just a bad smell, and it's a smell that never leaves you. Hurricane Katrina, New Orleans. We did I can't say names, but it was a coffee manufacturer in New Orleans, in the lower ninth ward of New Orleans. And they had, for whatever reason, when the floodwaters came up, there was this big encaged fence for the parking area, and it was a big area, a couple football fields of area.
Okay.
And when the water came up, the water went back down, and the eels, you know what an eel is?
Yeah.
When I say eels, there was 18 inches to 2 feet of eels in this parking lot over the entire area. It was disgusting. And we're in New Orleans in October. Hot, asphalt, and all this stuff was just baking and cooking until we got there. Right?
You're getting me.
And it wasn't bad until we started moving them.
Mm-hmm.
And it will never leave my nose. That's one. The other one happened in New Orleans too. Here's something. In our world, I don't eat at restaurants. Really, I try not to, because I know how gross they are behind there. I don't really like mayonnaise because I know how it's manufactured. And I've seen the big vats down in the bottom of the manufacturing place that was filled with water, just gross, disgusting New Orleans water. Sorry, anybody in New Orleans, if you're listening, but that's a dirty town before Katrina and after. And if you put that in there, you certainly can. Because they know, right? Everybody, if you've ever been to New Orleans has got a smell.
Okay, you got to scooch back over.
I'm sorry.
You're scooching out of the frame.
Sorry, yeah. I can't see it anymore, which is good. Mayonnaise. But you won't eat mayonnaise. Coffee, it's luckily that there's certain things that you got to put out of your head, because there are some things in life that you got to enjoy. But coffee was one. Mayonnaise is gross. Probably the most nastiest thing is non-dairy coffee creamer.
Really?
Yeah. And the way that it's made, there's always fires in the facilities. And there you go, for all the other restoration companies. Go find a non-dairy coffee creamer manufacturer. They have fires in them, but it's disgusting. And when we did this, has been years ago, way back in the late 90s when we did these. When you got done working, at the end of the day, that compound of that stuff, that it's just powder and it's flammable. Be a fun trick when you go to a bonfire over the weekend. Put some coffee creamer on there and you'll see a big flame. It's better than gasoline.
I have to do a science experiment with my kids on that.
It's kind of fun. Yeah, but the little pellets that you see inside of that coffee creamer is not it shouldn't be an edible treat. It's probably either cockroaches or rats.
Stop it.
I can't make it up, and I wouldn't make it up. Anyway,
I do know, like, the FDA standards allows so many, like, cricket legs and chocolate and stuff like that, so it doesn't surprise me.
And it was so gross. But that's why I drink black coffee, is because I won't drink non-dairy coffee creamer. Anyway, so
love these stories.
Yeah, then they keep coming. So anyway, we'll go. What else we got to talk? What else? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all I have written down, because we're flying by the seat of our pants at this point.
Okay, well,
you keep going.
I can, and if I was walking around in a circle, I would have kept going. But stories.
For wrap up, we've told some funny stories, so we don't really need to end with a funny story.
Any serious? You almost had me crying about a dead body.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Emotions.
You're the second guest that I've almost had in tears. It must be something about me.
Well, I do that because of this. Facility managers have a tough job, period,
yeah.
in what we all do. And I think, for me, I'm going to answer my phone and make it lighthearted, because that's the only way I know how.
Yeah. I deflect with humor.
100%. And deflection with humor is a good place to go, because we deal with, again, what I said before. People love to see us come. They love to see us go. They don't ever want to see us again, because it's historically your bad day.
Yeah.
And most of the time, what we're dealing with, or what we're doing in your building, y'all have never seen. And it's typically once or twice in a career that you see it.
But you see it day in, day out.
We see it day in and day out. So it's like, okay, how can I project to you that we got it? I got you. And be level-headed in that time of need. And only ask a few questions, because the more questions that we ask in that initial phone call tends to get the other side worked up. I don't know, just get here.
Yeah. Were you around before emails?
Heck yeah. I mean, when I originally started,
Did you have a beeper?
I had a pager.
I love that.
And what were those phones? Come in. Hello. The walkie.
The Sprint.
No, it was
Talk to text.
We'll talk to text, but everything we're saying is how we've evolved in business, and communication shouldn't be a thing. Email. But the hardest part about in our world today is the instant gratification.
Yeah.
Right. That everybody wants it now.
Right.
It used to be I had to get a page that would go off 911. I'm so sorry. And I'd read that page, and then I'd have to stop at a payphone, make sure I had a quarter to call whoever was paging me. Oh, you got to get to Concord, to the hospital in Concord as quick as you can. Okay, well, as quick as we can was back then an hour and a half to 2 hours, sometimes 2.5 to 3 hours. Now I'm sending a text, and if you don't answer your text message, I'm going to the next person on the list. Anyway, just communicate. And why can't I think of that? Man, I guess I'm getting old. What was the name of that phone?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
I was too young. I remember I'm a baby. I remember the Sprint talk to text.
Nextel.
Well, yeah, so Sprint
Was
bought
it
Nextel.
Nextel?
Yeah. It was like that yellow phone.
Well,
It was a talk to text.
I don't remember.
I didn't have one.
Walkie-talkie.
That was before I got a cell phone. My first one was a Nokia.
I had one of those, like the box one. I used to put it in my pocket.
Yeah, we used to call them the theft deterrent phones because no one wanted to steal it, and you could throw it at someone like in an emergency if you needed to get away, and it would actually hurt them and not break.
Now they just carry guns.
Well, I was a runner, so like that
We're not gonna go any right. Let's not go
All right, let's wrap it up today.
Yeah, no guns. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. And my plug for the podcast, if you can rate and review this podcast where you listen to it, it helps us with the rankings. If you like us, please let us know. If you don't like us, please don't let me know. I'm not interested.
I love what you're doing. I had to say, I think, did I say this to you? I'm proud, right? I'm glad that you made it and kicked off and did it and doing it, and you are doing it. So.
And just for anyone that doesn't know, I actually pitched this idea to Jeff right when I came back from maternity leave. I've been sitting on it for about a year, and I said, Jeff, let's do this. Be my co-host. And Jeff was like, absolutely not.
I co-host. I don't. But anyway.
And then he said, "Think on that, Elizabeth." And you called me back a year later and said, "Why haven't you started it?" And I said, "Because you told me it was a bad idea. Or at least in my head, that's what I heard."
It wasn't a bad idea. It was a great idea. I love the podcast. So
Jeff said, "Just let's get it done."
Do it.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Push. You're welcome. Thank you. Good job. I love it.
Thanks, and we'll talk next week.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye. I gotta take a breath. Drink some coffee.
Drink some coffee.
Okay. I asked you if I could walk around the room and talk, make me sit here. It's like getting my hair cut with people putting the thing over me and strapping me into a chair, making use of it. It's